Well, hello again, everybody. This is Bob Martin, the RCSubGuy with the Nautilus Dry Docks, and you've tuned in to my YouTube channel because theoretically you're interested in RC submarines. This is my weekly update video. We're going to show you everything that we managed to get accomplished, all of our challenges, opportunities, failures, all the good stuff, and you'll see what we managed to accomplish at the end of the week. What you're going to see in this video coming up, we are going to continue work on our awesome steampunk tugboat, the Crow's Fortune. We are going to finish up, hopefully, the Seagate Titan. That is not a Seagate Titan. And we are going to do an overhaul on an 80 mil RC watertight cylinder from R&R, converting it from dual shaft to single shaft. And finally, we're going to be doing the last of our prep for upcoming RC Submarine Regatta Subfest 2024, the redo, which was canceled last year because of Hurricane Helene. And we're going to show you a little bit about that coming up here as well. So, without any further delay whatsoever, let's get things started. If you've been following my channel, you'll be familiar with the Crow's Fortune, which started out life as a Mr. Darby tug that I took in on trade for some 3D printing work and a little bit of cash. I'm not super stoked about scale boats. They don't really turn my crank, but what I do love, fantasy, sci-fi, steampunk, and that's what we did. We steampunkified the Mr. Darby. Last week, you saw we got it in the water. It was working really, really good. I got feedback from a bunch of you people saying it needed more stability. Now, I don't know that I necessarily agree. I thought it was pretty stable, but there is a reason that I want to add more stability to it, and it's not because I want more stability to it. This is the battery that I got with the boat. 35 amp hour. It's a freaking car battery. I mean, come on now. Like, you know, you put this in a tractor or something like that. It weighs a lot. I believe almost 10 kilograms, so it's you know 20 some odd 23 24 pounds all by itself, which is fine because in this boat you need you know about 60 pounds worth of ballast to get things floating at the correct water line. All right, no problem. But this battery is big and it's tall. When we talk about stability, you want weight as low in the hull as you can get it. The center of mass is up here, and we want it down here as low as we can get it. The other big thing about this is dropping the battery in and getting it oriented properly in the little saddle that I have in the bottom is a major pain in the patella. You have to drop it, tilt it, spin it. And it blocks access to my super awesome smoke unit right there. So, not ideal. So, what I did, I went ahead and grabbed two 12 amp sealed lead acid batteries. So now we're talking 24 amp hours of capacity. So I lost about 30% of the capacity. But come on, people. Do you really need 35 amps of power in this boat? I mean, you get tired, you know, after a couple of hours. And there's no point in having all of that. So in my mind, convenience is king. Now you'll see I got a couple of these ingots on top, and you'll remember I put one of these in the back of the boat to get it trimmed. This is 975 grams. This is about 1100 grams. And this weight is going to be much lower than it was in here. We'll be dropping it about 1.5 inches, that center of mass. And these are going to be infinitely easier to drop in and take out of the boat. We'll add these in the middle, and that'll add even more stability. So we've got this to do. We need to swap out the boat from accepting that to accepting these. And I also got tired of lifting the top off and fumbling with connectors and to power up the boat. So I got this 20 amp, 12 volt remote on off switch. This will allow me to turn the boat on and off without having to crack into the interior at all, in theory. So we're going to wire this up to accept the connectors in there. So it'll just go in series, and I'll have full wireless control of the on and off on the boat. So let's get cracking. All right. While I am working on this whole battery situation, which we'll get to in a moment, Logan has been working on the flag. And just as a note, Bill sent me a whole bunch of AI-generated images of steampunk crows. And I selected one that kind of was most reminiscent to me of what would be on a flag and printed it out. So let's take a look. So we have our crow. And this was just printed on normal paper. And then Logan did some creative flapping, folding. And now what we're going to try, and I think this worked last time, I really hope it does, we're going to saturate this with thin CA and see what it looks like. And that'll also create rigidity, protect it from water, protect it from running, and we can drill some holes in the corners to put little rings to put on our mast. So we'll get you to grab the thin CA and see how that's going to work.
Squish it again. Where's the thin CA?
All right, here we go. We'll see if my memory is correct or if I just totally ruined my... So in theory, this should all just kind of flow together. I wonder, we drew in the brush, but I wonder if we painted it on. You're going to have to play with that. Grab it and move it and all that stuff. We'll just show you what it looks like when it's done. And it'll be awesome, I'm sure, and won't require us reprinting it again. Battery situation. Made some carry handles out of tape, so now I can just drop this in real easy. And these are wired in parallel. There's two ways of wiring up batteries. If you wire them up in parallel, you can see I've connected the negative terminals and the positive terminals. And these basically creates one large battery out of two smaller batteries. And when it's done this way, the amperage is combined, but the voltage remains the same. So now this is 12 volt, 24 amp. If I would go from the positive to the negative, negative to the positive, blah, 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 it would be in series. We'd have 24 volts and 12 amp hours. But we don't want that. 24 volts, this is fast enough. We don't need 24 volts. So now we've got our giant battery pack. And Logan also got our switch in there. So that's all wired in and it's out of the way. And yeah, now we can drop our battery in, do a little testy test. So, success. We got signal strengthage. We're done. We're in business. All right, here's our flag. I don't know. I must have been in La La Land before. So that thin CA, I mean, it did make this nice and hard. But a couple of things we discovered. One, I don't think this is big enough. We need it a little bigger. Like at least I'm gonna make it double. And I don't like the shiny finish, and it darkened up our poor bird. You can't really see him very well. So I'm gonna reprint this real quick, and then we're gonna try doing the same thing, folding it, and we're just gonna hit it with clear matte clear, and see if we can get a better finish on it.
In the meantime, I am going to be trying to get some of these maps set up for our little assistant here.
So we scavenged her, or him, I don't know, it'll critter of unnamed gender. And we took it was a box of gears, right?
Yeah, she was holding a box of gears.
and we're going to replace it with a map.
You can grab some of the extras and actually add them inside to the map table, so the map table actually has maps.
Oh, yeah, there we go. That'd be good. So he's going to do some little rollies and make that look really cool and stuff, and we'll put it in her hands, and then she's going to go stand by Captain Elf there, and they'll be, in theory, navigating this crazy boat. I, by the way, put all of the ingots in the hull, one in front of the battery, one in the middle of the hull. I think this is going to make it correct. So, actually, it's nice out right now. Wonder if we should dump this in the water. Here we go. Way better size. Like that. A lot better. So, Logan had a cool idea. What we're going to do, I'm going to take this thing, because this is too pristine. It's too nice for the Crow. We're gonna see if we can chew up the edges a little bit with the belt sander and make it just a little tattered. And here is the result of our flag efforts. Much, much better to scale. And our figure is holding the map and a couple more maps. She looks a little, a little flustered, a little worried. Apparently she's a little anal retentive navigator kind of person. All right, we are out at the top secret test facility. And we got the Crow floating in the pool. So this is now with additional weight, but also the batteries are sitting much lower in the hull than it was previously.
It's nice and stable.
It's a lot more stable, yeah. But, again, not that I'm arguing with you boat people, because apparently you know what you're doing. I think it was fine the way it was before from a stability perspective. The only thing that we did this for primarily was ease of access to the hull, getting those batteries in and out. But we did increase the stability, made it more convenient. It was all worth it. It only took maybe like an hour all in with the new batteries, the switch, the phone, or the weights. Well worth it. So this is what I was talking about for the back. For whatever reason, our nozzle isn't doing what it did when we were testing. I mean, I guess it still looks kind of cool. Yeah, it's fine. It'll be fine. Well, this is about as much as we're gonna get done, I think. It is leaning port a little bit. I wonder if the weights shifted when I was hauling it out here. Yeah, I'll go back in and check them out before we glue them in there permanently. All right, all good. So now that the Crow is, in theory, ready for her primetime debut at Subfest, we're on to a couple of other projects that I'm hoping are not going to be terribly long. Let's take a look. One, two. Logan's going to take that one, and I'm going to take this one. We gotta clean up all the paint, overspray, and nastiness on the Titan. Get it all cleaned up and do a final assessment in terms of cosmetics. Hook up all our hoses and final test in the pool. I actually kind of like the paint job, I have to say. Well, we'll percolate on it. And then this is the other R&R dual shaft. Delete, put in the motor. The motor's going to be off-center. That's the only way of doing it in this particular case. Unless we move it. I don't know. We'll see when I get in here. But we're converting dual to single shaft. All right, as I have this cylinder sitting here in front of me, I just wanted to relate to you people. I have, in multiple occasions, and Logan can attest to this, run into scenarios where individuals who've purchased watertight cylinders or fully built boats from me receive the products and are so utterly terrified of opening them up that they will not even crack the cylinder open to charge the batteries without emailing me and asking me for permission and or recommendations. This is not a good scenario. There's very few things that you can do to this that will break it permanently, okay? If you're not doing something stupid, you'll be just fine. It is absolutely imperative that you become intimately familiar with your watertight cylinder. If you don't, it's going to push you around and bully you throughout your entire ownership experience. My advice, when you get a new cylinder, you get a new boat, get them on the bench in front of you, get a cup of coffee, get your cell phone so you can take pictures as you go, and take it all apart. Take the whole thing apart into individual components. Now, don't desolder things, but pull it apart, you know? See how it works. Where does this wire go? Where does this hose go? You know, how are things put together? You need to understand this if you are going to operate, build, maintain, and repair your watertight cylinder. So, just as a little bit of a public service announcement, don't let your cylinder bully you. Take charge, and you'll have a much better ownership experience. All right, we're going to get started tearing into this sucker. And I don't know that I'm going to be going into like step by step, because this would really only be applicable to like 2 people out there who would ever convert their 2-cylinder R&R 80 millimeter cylinder from 2 shafts to 1 shaft. But there's a couple of things that I want to talk about as I work. First off, I got the start date for my new position. That's May 5th, which is the day after I get back from Subfest. So as of that point, I'll be back working full time. And you're going to see a different format for these videos. So just kind of bear that in mind. And the other thing was, and this can be a touchy subject with some people. And what I'm referring to is the, let's call it strained relationship between America and Canada right now. The reason I'm bringing this up is because I got a good friend up in Canuckland, where I'm originally from, by the way. And he was saying he brought some of his ship models out for the first time in a long time. And he actually got flack from other boaters and spectators at the venue because he had some American subjects for his RC craft. Now, I can fully understand as a Canadian being upset with all of this, quite frankly, ridiculous talk about making Canada the 51st state or whatever you want to call it. We're not going to get into that, but what I do want to say is that your fellow boaters and these people running the boats, they're not making decisions about this kind of thing. They enjoy the hobby, they enjoy the craft, and they enjoy the camaraderie and companionship when they run boats. So taking it out on them is poor form. We're in this together as fans of the RC hobby, as RC submariners. We got to stick together, people. Don't let people get you down. We can just band together as a group, have fun, run our boats. Who cares if it's an American boat or a Canadian boat or whatever? It's a boat, and they're all super cool boats. I relate this to this whole thing when I run a German U-boat at the lake. Nobody has any problem that these were craft, made by Nazi Germany in an attempt to overthrow the world. Take a step back, enjoy it for what it is, and let's all have fun. So let's see what kind of progressives I've done here. Pulled the old motors out, drilled a hole in the exact center of the cylinder. And what we're doing now, or what I did, is I drilled a new hole for the shaft. It's kind of dark here, isn't it? Hoo-yah! And new holes for the bolts. So this is all bolted in. One thing I like to do, which is a really good idea, put a flat on the motor. These did not get those. So grind a flat, and that'll allow the set screw in your shaft to seat on it, and the odds of that slipping is greatly reduced. So I'm going to go ahead and do that, which I probably should have done before I put it in. And then we are going to move on to drilling a hole for the shaft. But fortunately, you can see there's actually machine marks that show the precise center of this end cap. So it'll be really, really easy to locate and drill that. So what I'm doing now is I'm extracting the old seals, and you can see I already did the one side, but this is how you can do it. If you have brass in resin, heat will loosen up cyanoacrylate and most epoxies and that kind of thing. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to heat this assembly up, and of course there's no seal in it. This is just a brass body. And then what I'm going to go ahead and do is set this in place. You grab me a hammer, bud?
Yep. Beat it into submission.
And tap it out. Next up, piloted the center hole, drilled the center hole. This is 5/16, which I'm sure works out exactly to a metric thing, probably like 8 mils or something like that. Went one size up on the drill bit. Ideally, you would have a super awesome precision friction fit, but because we're drilling this afterwards and not during the manufacturing process, we have less control over that. So what I did, drilled it in the center, because again, I could still see the lathe marks from when he had turned his master pattern for these molds. Drilled it out a little bit bigger. Now this slips in like loose-ish, but it's still got some wiggle room to it. And I did this on purpose. So what I'm going to go ahead and do now, we're going to go ahead, put this on and in, and flush it up to the end cap in here, and then and only then glue this housing in place. And what we're doing is ensuring perfect alignment between motor, shaft, and bushing. This is what you ended up with here. Super free spinning motor. I went ahead and filled the old holes with epoxy, and I used some micro balloons in there, not because I needed it thickened or strengthened, but because it makes it white. Makes it look a little better than if it was that clear, that yellowy epoxy color. Now that that's all done, we're actually into the cylinder setup scenario. And this is where things may be of more interest to you because it's a little bit more universal. So we're going to be installing our electronic speed controller for the brushless motor. We're going to be setting up our servos and servo linkages. We're going to be putting a BEC, battery eliminator circuit, inside. And we're going to be popping in an automatic pitch controller, running some wires, and doing all sorts of cool things like that. So let's continue, shall we? We're going to start with setting up the linkages. These are already run, which are super cool. Before you start going ahead and being like, oh, I'm going to take my little horns on, put my little horns on here like this, and you go ahead and once you get it all set up and you put your receiver in and then you find out the servos weren't centered. First thing you want to do, always, center your servos with your servo tester, which you have, of course, because you've been following my channel and you know that a servo tester is a vital piece of equipment. So we're just going to go ahead, plug this in, and some of them have a center button, but if not, 1500 pulses, neutral. So now I know that this servo is centered, and I can take my horn, put it in the proper position, and torquelize it in place. So I've got my servos hooked up. One thing to note here, you want to absolutely make sure that this length that the servo is going to travel when it goes into, you know, this shaft here is parallel to the direction that this is supposed to be moving. So this is actually set up pretty well in that it's almost direct, but a lot of times you'll find that this output is, say, up here, and you have to step it down. Don't just make it straight and have it bent and have all that force on it. Do a little bend over 45 and down. Like I said, this works out well. It's almost perfect in terms of orientation. Doing the brushless motor, the brushless speed controller, you'll notice I soldered on some bullet connectors, and I also color-coded the heat shrink so that you will always know which ones go to which connectors. So now I'm going to go ahead and secure this inside and move on to wiring up the pump. I got my brushed electronic speed controller for the pump. I've got my brushless electronic speed controller for the motor. Servo. So that's 4 servo extensions. And then I've run power, main power, through that central conduit. You can see the blue and black wire. That pops up, and that powers both of these units. So what we're going to do tomorrow, because it's going to be a little tedious, is we're going to run all of these servo extensions down here. Now, what we could do is just gang all of the positives, the red wires together, the black wires together, and just run 2 wires that will power all of these. Or we can do all 3. That would basically save like 6 wires running through the middle section. If you have a small tube in the middle, that would be something that you'd want to do. We've got a lot of room, so we're just going to make life super easy for us, and we're just going to splice all of these ends in so that they're exactly the same length when they terminate in the receiver compartment on the top here. So we're trundling right along. This will be done, I think, early tomorrow morning. One thing I didn't do, which I need to do, I'm going to talk to the customer and see if he wants to use this mechanical switch or if he wants to do a remote switch or a magnetic switch. If we run this switch, all I need to do is tap into the main power that comes to the back, and it'll go through here and then back in. This is the break in the circuit. But we'll talk to him, see what he wants to do. I would recommend an MM15 15 amp magnetic switch, or the big 15 amp remote fobby switch, which can take up a lot more room, but I don't know. He's got a ton of plans for this. He wants like sonar and a whole bunch of stuff, bow thrusters and all kinds of things. So yeah, that is going to do it for today, or at least the shop portion of today, I think. And then we'll pick things back up tomorrow. Tuesday morning, we're gonna have probably a short shop time today. I've got 5 modules that I need to complete for my course, my marketing course, and they're all due on Friday, and each one takes like 3 or 4 hours. So we're in the weeds there. So we're gonna cut things short a little bit, but we're still gonna get a lot done. And Logan and I are fighting because we're on a little bit amount of sleep, because all night the amazing, epic Texas power grid has been sending fluctuating power to the house. All the UPSs in the house are flickering on and off. The lights, everything is beeping. Did you just see that? Texas infrastructure, I tell you, between the roads and the power, it's a joke. I'm going to get on the Titan, and Logan's going to start some wiring with this. I did not hear back from the customer in regarding the power switch, so I'm just going to make an executive decision, and he can live with it. That is how it's going to work. So I got hoses and everything reconnected on the Titan. I think I have them hooked up in the right spots. Again, would have been good to have marked them. We marked them on the cylinder side, but not the hull side when we took everything out, which was super smart. The other thing, last time we ran it, 3 weeks ago, I think it was, we didn't disconnect the battery. Normally this is a very bad thing when you have a remote switch. The remote fobs, the heavy duty on off switches, pull current, a very small amount, but if you leave it plugged in for like a week, it'll kill a LiPo, sure as heck. This unit is running an MM15 magnetic switch. It was plugged in for 3 weeks, and that little 3300 is still reading 12 volts, fully charged. Yeah, that's cool. Now, I'm not saying go ahead and leave your MM15 submarine plugged in all the time, but what I'm saying is in this particular case, unless there were elves that were in here, plugging and unplugging it, it was okay. I'm just saying. So this is the situation we've got going on. All of our plumbing hoses are set and ready to go. Logan's finished all the paint. It's all glossy, looking pretty cool. Waiting on the, I'm topping up the batteries, which should be good to go. Put it in, run a test. I'm going to bring the cylinder in, test for leaks one final time, and then this is going in the top secret test facility for final check, and it'll be done and ready to go. I will say that putting in that viewport was a major pain in the butt because we got to reach all the way in and glue it from the backside. Should have waited to glue this on. I really should have, but I was impatient. So I went ahead, tested this. It had a little leak right here, so I put some more Teflon tape underneath, and that adjusts the amount of force that the seal is applying to the outside or the inside diameter of the clear tubing section. Anybody who has a cylinder with this inside sealing methodology can use that trick. Just use Teflon tape underneath, pushes the seal out, and what you're looking for is that black, that dark black, indicating that it's pressed firmly up against. And obviously I blew into this as well. This is the test hose, and it's completely sealed. I actually blew the end cap off of it, which was super fun. What I need to do is put the cap back on now that that's tested. So this will go on there, like this, shoop, like that. Now this is all buttoned up and ready to go. Some other things I did want you to note the position of the magnetic mission switch. So this is the main on-off switch. When you insert that, it goes right here. And so I did a little indicator pad to know where to swipe left and right to turn the whole thing on and off. And the last thing that I did, I set up some timers. So you can see I've got, no you can't see, let's try that again. I've got a ballast down and a ballast up timer. And this is because we don't want to overextend our piston pump, because this hydraulic pressure is significant and it could potentially blow the back off or blow a hose off. So we want to make sure we're turning it off. You guys remember, because you've been following my channel, 25-second cycle time to fill this all the way up. So how this will work is if you want to dive, you hit dive, and the ballast down timer starts. And what you're going to see ends up happening at the 10-second mark. It's going to give you a countdown.
10, 9, 8, 7.
And then once it reaches 0, you would turn your pump off.
1, 0.
And you can see if you're like, oh no, I've gone too far. But when you put it back to neutral, resets the timer. And it's the same thing on ballast up, but I actually added 5 seconds to it because it's not going to hurt anything for this to pull vacuum. It'll actually seat all the hoses and everything even better if there is some vacuum pulled in there, and that just makes sure that it's fully seated all the way. Outside at the top secret test facility, and we've got Titan. That's not a Titan. You got to come up with a name, like Pumpkin Spice or Orange Julius. I like Orange Julius. Orange Julius is going in the water. We'll get Logan to fire it up, do a little swipey swipe.
Oh, there we go. There we go.
Do a little test. All right, we are good. Let's throw it in the water. Okay, here we go. Orange Julius into the water. I mean, that's not bad, right? I mean, for a research sub. So what I'll do, actually I'll do it right now. So I'm going to hit that timer. You're going to watch the ballast down begin counting down. And in theory, we should see the boat being heavier. Which it definitely did.
Yeah, gentle pull, and it lifted right off the ground. Doesn't seem to be sinking again.
Yeah, we need a little bit. You're getting right in the camera, you crazy thing. So you see that little eruption of water? That's the pitch or the depth keeper attempting to maintain that depth, and you can see it's doing it perfectly. It's like an inch below the surface. This is working really good. So I'm going to go a little deeper. And then again, in theory, the pump should be working. That is awesome. So we should see a little burble of, yep. I'm not touching the controls. That's all the boat itself. All right, after action report with Orange Julius. I like that name. Man, did it ever perform good. I was super stoked with that. I mean, again, it's not a speed demon, but it's a research sub, and the actual Seagate Titan was really slow, which is why they added these fairings on the outside in an attempt to try and get more speed out of it. So I'm not really worried about that. The depth keeping was epic.
That was perfect.
That was so cool to watch, the auto hover. So for anybody who has the thought about having auto hover in their boats, if you have a pump style ballast system, this is feasible using the DC unit from KMC, which I offer through the dry docks. It'll automatically hover your boat. Pretty slick stuff. The bad news. These pumps are going to be problematic. They're hot. We were out there for maybe 10 minutes.
And even then, we only ran it for 3-minute bursts.
Yeah. So these are gear pumps. They're windshield washer pumps, and I think the issue is these were never designed for continuous use, for a continuous duty cycle. So they're supposed to be like beep, beep, beep when you wash your windshield. So they get hot. I mean, I can put my hand on them, but they've been cooling down for a couple of minutes. This is not an ideal scenario. It may require sourcing different pumps. Fortunately, swapping them out would be really, really easy. The trick is finding some that are rated for continuous duty. Come to think of it, the maneuvering thrusters only need to pump in one direction. So we could use better pumps, different pumps, centrifugal pumps, maybe, like aquarium pumps.
You wouldn't get a lot of oomph out of them, but they would last forever.
Lots of, well, centrifugal is high volume, low pressure, right? That's all an option. At this particular point, I am not interested or willing to undertake sourcing different pumps, installing pumps, testing them, prototyping them. I'll reach out to Roy, the gentleman that contracted me, and he can make a decision whether he is okay with this as a demo sort of fun boat, and then he can undertake sourcing new pumps and swapping them out, or if he just wants his deposit back. Because now we're out of time. Yeah, unfortunate, but because it is kind of a cool little boat. It's unfortunate it was modeled after the Seagate Titan, but for what it is, it's pretty slick. Oh, hi Gracie. Did you come to visit? No freeloaders. Clean the shop. We are nearing completion of the modified R&R watertight cylinder. And of course, what you need to do at the end is test everything. Well, let's do a quick overview of this setup here. So, non-used remote or a switch, power switch, main drive motor, the pump, two-way pump for the ballast system, and underneath you got the electronic speed controller for the motor and for the pump. Everything runs through that central tank. We got all of our servo ends set up to put the receiver right here. We have a BEC 5 amps. That's a monster. Automatic pitch controller, magnetic mission switch, and a power distribution block, which makes life a lot easier. Now we're going to go ahead and test everything. Did you already test those?
Yep, these are good.
Okay. So we're going to need to power up the power. Okay. Power! Alright, what am I forgetting? What's going on?
Power's going into the mission switch, which we have to turn on.
That would be smart. And we got a magnet right here.
Sounds like it's connected to an ESC.
Do. Do. Oh, haha. I'm like, why does it only go one way? There's a switch on these units that you need to flick to switch it from unidirectional to bidirectional. All right, pump works. Do.
These are very satisfying sounding motors.
Yeah, they are. Ron's using 1600 kilovolt brushless motors. That's excessive. You want typically more like 500 or 600 kilovolts. Because with brushless motors, your RPM is your kilovolt rating times the number of volts it's getting. And that'll be the RPMs that it spins at. So at 11 times 1600, that's
A lot of RPMs.
a lot of RPMs is. But fortunately, most modern radios, you can pare it down. Okay, we basically tested everything. The only other thing we need to do is just test to make sure we got 5 volt output power coming to our BEC. And that should be it. And it's Thursday. And you guys know what Thursday is. It's garbage day here at the dry docks. Some astute amongst you have probably noticed, well, what happened on Wednesday? Why are you cheating us of a whole day? So a couple of things happened. Well, one big thing, to be honest. We bought a new vehicle. Okay, it's not new. It's not remotely new. It's new to me. It's a 2011 Avalanche. I've been looking at these things for a long time. And part of the reason for this, we have a little SUV. You guys have seen it before, Daisy. And but that's going to be Logan's vehicle. And he's going to be heading off to college here in a couple months. And so we've been shopping for a new car. And this is what we ended up with. And there's a reason I went for this one. So it's smaller than a normal pickup truck. Super tight turning radius, pretty reliable platform. This is the 900 series platform. These regularly go 300,000-400,000 miles. This has only got 90 on it. But the cool thing is, it's got a 5-foot bed, which is fine for most RC submarines. You can go 6, kitty corner. But if you pop the rear seat down, it's locked. It folds forward and you can get 8.5 feet in here. That's big enough for any RC submarine. Normal pickup truck just ain't gonna cut it. So I'm excited about this. I got upgrades planned for it to update some of the older tech in it. But yeah, it's the new Dry Docks delivery vehicle. This morning we've already packed up a bunch of orders. We packed up our Orange Crush RC Submarine. We were going to call it Orange Julius, but on YouTube, someone's like, why did you not call it the Orange Crush? I'm like, that is brilliant. So it's the Orange Crush. We packed that up. It's going to California. The guy in California is going to ship it to Scotland. I don't know why we're not just shipping it directly to Scotland, but hey, it's his boat. He can do whatever he wants. We got some stuff staged here that's going to be going to storage, and we're going to be picking up a huge load of stuff from storage to come back here for Subfest. Because yes, we have basically 3 work days left before we need to be on the road. We'll be picking the RV up on Monday, loading up, heading out Tuesday for the first day on Wednesday. So we are headed off to storage, drop this off, pick up all the new stuff, and start getting the show on the road. There we go. Point in case. 70-inch long Nautilus fits perfectly. Kitty corner. And by the way, I have in stock ready to go 70 mil single shaft, 100 mil single shaft watertight cylinders from R&R. If you're interested, they're in stock, ready to ship immediately. I don't have the 100 mil listed up on my site, but I do have the 70. You can buy that directly from my website if you want that one. Hit me up. I'll send you a manual invoice. All right, we're back. And I have to say, it's been a long time since I've owned a pickup truck. Man, it's convenient as heck. Got all the Subfest stuff in one load, although it was close. I wanted to say, I am cleaning out my storage, and I'm using Subfest as the avenue by which I will be liquidating many, many RC Submarine assets. So, if you're going to Subfest, you'll have a chance to see them in person. Make me an offer, take them. I am not taking them back with me, period. I don't care if I need to give them away or pay people to take them, whatever. But if you see something here, which I'm going to give you a little tour right now before I leave, and you only have a short period of time, this video is going to drop on Friday, so you'll have Saturday, Sunday, a little bit of Monday, just the weekend. If you see something you want, shoot me an email with an offer. Don't ask me how much I want for it. I'm not going to price each one individually right now. Just make me an offer. It'll be a yes or no thing, and we'll be done. Let's take a tour of all the cool things that you're going to see there. Okay, here we go. This is my James Bond Lotus. Full kit, brand new, never touched. Same kit that I built out for my functional Bond Lotus. That's coming. A really cool empty like toolkit thing with like drawers. You can't have my weights. Forget it. That's extra. That's gonna go super cheap as well. Oh yeah, got some Sequest kits and a bunch of stuff. The Sequest, they've got shirts and extra stuff. But these kits are gonna go here. Some old Subfest shirts. Those will probably be given away to people. There's more Subfest maintenance stuff. Don't worry about that. And that's a customer boat. You can't have that. Another really cool transport carry case for like pond side with carry handle, wheels. I mean, hell yeah. Brand new carry case, hard sided. Most smaller boats would go really good in here. Which, by the way, where did it go? I have a kilo, 96th kilo. I don't even know where the hull went. But I have a whole kit. That would be perfect for that. Where is that kilo? Duh, right in front of me. Here we go. 96 kilo, Manly. Awesome kit. I got a random 3D printed tower for 48th Gato, which I have over there, which also comes with his own tower, upper deck, blueprints. That's all there. Two newish, Vex radios with crystals. And I think, does one of them come with a receiver? 2 receivers? Oh my God. Make me an offer. 75 megahertz there, peoples. Bex Model Marine, a Vanguard kit, brand new, unmolested. That's all ready to go. 3D printed Sequest Stinger. If you're ever interested in building either display model or functional model. Bronco Type 23, brand new, in the box. Mobius, flying sub, 30-second scale. You guys have seen me RC these. They work really, really good. These are our shirts. These are for the people that come. Another brand new, hard-sided plastic carry case. Perfect for smaller subs. Brand new Revel Gato, 70-second scale. A whole bunch of Seaview stuff. This came with that big Seaview kit that I had, that 80-inch Seaview. So there's like a bridge in here, but mostly all this reference material. Look at this stuff. You can't find this stuff anywhere. This is worth $1 million, people. Blueprints, a whole box. Delta 4 kit, assembled, mocked up. Missile hatches are all rigged up, ready to go. This has been listed on my site. What the heck is wrong with you people? Why has nobody bought this? You're all crazy. I'm going to bring a couple of radios, brand new FreeSky 900 megahertz radios. These aren't going to go on sale. I'm not giving these away, but for anybody that wants to upgrade on site, we'll walk you through the programming and all that stuff. What's in here? Oh, an old MSD watertight cylinder. Look at that. That's a 2.5-inch majigger. And what is it? This is another bunch of parts for the Kilo. I'll throw that in with the other Kilo over here. So you'll have 2 Kilo parts over there. What is? Oh, another Gato kit. A 3D printed Dolphin kit. I'm bringing a bunch. I'll blow out some of my Diving Deep books. If you guys want that, I got a Dumas Akula that was donated. That's pretty awesome. And I think this might be a Type 7. I don't know. It's in a box. I don't want to open the box. I'm bringing it. It's a mystery box. Make me an offer. It's a plastic. I think it's a Revel kit though. Oh, hold on. 172 Type 7. There you go. If you guys are looking for Type 7, we got you covered. Is that everything? Yeah. Well, it's a start anyway. There'll probably be a bunch more stuff there at any rate. There is a sub swap table at Subfest. Now, if you can't go yourself, get yourself a Subfest buddy. Go on the forums, find out who's going, get them to shop it for you. You get eyes on the ground, get your peeps on some good deals or something that you've been looking for, hunting for. There's going to be some pretty awesome deals. Lots of people bring lots of cool stuff to trade over there. So that's it. Now, I'm going to go get something to drink. And then we're going to crate up my Alpha and get it ready to go. So this is a shipping crate for my Alpha. That my good buddy Greg Hempin rigged up for me. And the design was something that Nathan and I kind of brainstormed. And the idea, if we can do this, the top just lifts off. And we'll just set it down over here, exposing your boat. So you're not dropping the boat in. Now you've got a workbench kind of scenario. You can set it on top of the top, and you've got a little mobile workbench all set up for your pond side escapades. So what I'm thinking we're going to do, we'll grab Alpha, and it has its own little wooden display stand. We'll drill some pegs so that we can just slot it down on the top, and then yeah, we should be good. Let's go try. And here's the scenario that we're faced with here right now. I'm just going to screw that whole wooden base down to the other wooden base and call it good. I mean, I guess technically I should have made cradles on this, and that would have saved the weight of this. But this is just pine. It's super light. I don't care. We're in a time crunch here, people. And this already has hold downs and everything for the hull, so that is what we're going to do. We're just going to screw that down to the base and strap it, and we're going to be in good shape. And screwed down, we got our handy straps holding it in place. This is rock solid in there. That's not moving anywhere. And we created a little foam mounting block for all of our masts and periscopes. Now, Ed had actually, when he built this, it was super cool. And one of the bulkheads, he made holes that you could put the periscopes inside. I figured I would just do it this way.
Extra safety.
Yeah, well, yeah, sure. And some of the periscopes are too tall to fit in there anyhow. This is cool, by the way. These all tilt up and down. All the doors open. Very cool. All right, we're gonna finish doing that up. Then we should probably write on the box so you know what boat's in there. And then we're gonna throw the lid on and Subfest bound. We were gonna trim it out, but we're just like running out of time. We'll do it at Subfest and we'll make it a group project. Actually, that would be cool. You know what we should do? Be like, oh, it's floating like this. You know, someone tell me what to do.
You could also make it like competitive trimming. Have two boats that are out of trim, so you can fix it first.
I'll grab someone's boat and pull all the foam out. And it's Friday. And ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, that's going to wrap up this video. All we're going to be doing here for the rest of the day is getting more Subfest stuff together, piling it in here. I'm doing up attendee lists and shirt lists and all of the boring stuff that you really don't want to watch. So for all intents and purposes, the cool stuff in the video is done. I'm going to wrap this up, go in, start editing it. Maybe we'll get it posted up a little early for you today. On that note, watch for some super awesome footage, probably not next week because obviously I'm going to be at Subfest, but we're going to be gathering up some epic pictures and video. It's all going to get posted up on Facebook on the Subfest 2024 group page, which you can sign up for and I'll allow you in. It's a private group. And the week following, you're going to start seeing the video coverage of the event. I'll try and post some stuff up on Facebook though, but bear in mind I'm staying on site with no internet access. So there may be limitations. You guys, be sure to let me know if you have any questions or comments about anything that you saw in this video. Drop them down below. I'll get back to you as soon as I can. Like and subscribe, it helps us a lot, and you have an awesome rest of your day.